Glarry, kind of a project guitar that I've added Wilkinson pickups to. And it sounds really good, honestly, for as cheap as it is. I put locking tuners on it as well, and a bone nut, and I put a switch in there, a 4-way switch. It's pretty much not stock anymore. Compensated saddles, I added those in too. And then linseed to the neck, so it gives it kind of like an old vibe, but it plays pretty good. I also had to sand the neck down because on the back it wasn't great. There was like a bump back here where the two meet. I would have true oiled it, and I might still do that so that it plays a little better. Overall, it feels okay. It feels a little kind of like you're playing on raw wood, but that's not the point. The point is, I want to take this black pickguard, scratched all up, which I mean, it's pickguard, it's what it's for, right? But it's kind of beat up because solder had dropped on there at one point. Despite trying to be careful, I still screwed it up because, you know, it's a cheap guitar. I wasn't really worried about it that much. But I'm also, what do you call it in thing? I'm an artist. What I'm going to try to do is sand this pickguard down and then put a guy on there. Probably a samurai because I'm generic like that. I like ninjas and samurais and fun stuff like that. I might just sand back that pickguard entirely and then draw the character on there and maybe put the kanji over here later. We shall see. Using this Easy Life Go. I've used it a lot. It's actually really good. It's a clear kind of gel-like stuff that doesn't stick or damage whatever it is you're trying to glue on the surface of. I'm going to try to put it on this backing board or this hardboard. It's not backing board. I'm going to try to put this on the hardboard, which I've used extensively for airbrushing stuff. And hopefully I can just draw on my easel for comfort's sake. And yeah, let's give it a shot. Alright, so I've got the pickguard on there, and yeah, it's being held on by that double-sided tape, and I'm gonna try to put it on with a little sponge brush, a little primer on there, and hopefully it'll take, and then I can knock it down a little bit. I'm gonna do 3 coats and then try to sand it back a little bit and draw my dude on there, and then wait for that to cure, and then clear coat that. So this will probably take about a week total, but hopefully it'll come out okay. Yeah, then I can go back to playing guitar on it. So there it is on the canvas. That's the double-sided tape holding that up. We shall see, boy. I'm also going to try this primer out here. It's what kills, but it's a water-based, so it should work well with the acrylic. And it even says down there PVC and vinyls. So that's cool because, you know, that's what this kind of, some kind of plastic, I assume, an ABS or something. But yeah, let's give this a shot and see if it holds up. quite, I'm not going to see it very well. It's not as even as I wanted it to be. A little black spot here because I had to sand out a bubble. There's some spottiness here, but really what was happening was a little bit of black was coming through after about 3 coats and sanding it back with 400. Overall, I mean, it's not bad. You know, it's going on a guitar, so I don't want it to flake off when I'm, you know, I put my fingers down here or hit it with a pick or something. I mean, otherwise, it's pretty smooth. It does a job. I just don't want to sit here, layer it and layer it and layer it when I just can go get one of these things here. I just spray it on real quick. And so this is the Zinsser 123. It's a water-based also. I'm going to give this here a shot, see how it do. Most important part is making sure my art doesn't suck. But the art comes out all right, okay? I want to make sure that I do it justice. I got to look at this thing, or at least people watching my videos do, you know? Got to look at me. That's bad enough, okay? This is a drawing that I did on a dry erase board in the kitchen. It has our weekly stuff on it, but I use it sometimes just to quick sketch ideas. What I did was I went and grabbed my Pickguard, I outlined it and then traced it with a micron. I used this drawing and just kind of lined it up like that and then laid it over the top and then traced it basically how I wanted it to look. I adjusted some things, but that's an easy way to do it for me. I actually had the background on this was brighter, so I just take this background out, something like that, and so it acts like a light board. If I just add this in real quick, if you're an artist and you want to know how I did it, this is why I'm showing you. If you're not, you're just curious, this is also why I'm showing you. So see, that's pretty bright, and then I have the brightness on my tablet all the way up. This isn't scaled right, but you get the idea. However you want to put the drawing on the Pickguard, you can line it up or whatever you're using. Line it up, trace it, and then you end up with something kind of like that. But again, that's just an underdrawing. It's gonna look a lot better than that, I hope, when I'm done, but that's the idea. So this is the Pickguard finished, obviously. Well, I should say it's finished for painting. The prep is done. I ended up not using the Kills 3. I used a BIN Zinsser, or bin by Zinsser. It's a alcohol-based shellac, which seems to have gone down better than the other stuff. Was like a latex kind of binder, and it was gumming up too much, so this seems to work a little better. I mean, it needs a little bit of sanding around certain edges and stuff. I'm going to do an epoxy pour on it, so I don't think that's really going to matter much, but I'm going to clean it up before I do that. Anyway, here it is for now. So I printed this guy out. This is the exact size that it would be on the guitar. I drew this digitally so that I could print it the size exactly it needed to be rather than having to trace it and draw it by hand. And sketching on this would be a pain. Here's a 1-to-1. It is on top of here. So you can get an idea how close it is to the print. It's not a perfect match because this is a Glarry Pickguard and then this layout is for a Fender. It worked out pretty well, I think. So that on there, if you can even imagine. There we go.
These are the acrylic markers I use from Hobby Lobby. They are the 2.0mm round tip nib Master Touch acrylic markers. They go on really easy and feel like a regular marker. I was using the printout copy as a guard to protect the graphite. I realized quickly the graphite was not going to smudge, so I ended up not using it. The 2mm is quite large for fine lining, so I might opt for a brush tip if I do this again, or consider how large they are when it comes time to doing line work. They dry quickly so they can be blended, but you have to work fast. However, if you do use them to blend, the markers will pick up the other color. Overall though, I really like these markers, no shaking needed like other paint pens. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, share, every bit helps. This is a continuation of me drawing with the acrylic markers from Hobby Lobby. These again are the Master Touch 2.0mm tip/nib. They dry really quickly, as you can see here, which can be a good or a bad thing. If you want to blend them, you have to work quickly. If you want to layer color, then that is a benefit of them drying fast. This is just the black line art. The color is to come. I had mentioned putting kanji on this guitar, so I decided to add it on his armor, on his gauntlet over his hand. I used a printed digital version and then traced that, as I am no kanji master. I took my time to carefully trace it as best as possible, but the thickness of the acrylic pens made it a bit difficult. Overall though, I'm happy with the results. Subscribe, like, comment, share, every bit helps. I am finishing up the line work and I am starting to add some shading. I improvised a bit over my original design, but not by a lot. Not much else to say at this point. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, share, and enjoy! Okay, I'm finally finishing up the line art and finally adding some color. I ended up painting the red first, as it is my favorite color, despite my green guitars. Though green is a close second. Here I'm adding the red to the Japanese rising sun flag in the background. The red needed to go on in a few coats as there was some graphite it needed to cover up. So it took like 3 or 4. If you like this series of videos, please let me know. I have a 7-string Jackson that could use some work and some aesthetics. Consider subscribing, leaving a like, commenting, or sharing. Every little bit helps. Thanks for watching. Here I'm adding some orange highlights, which complement the lens-seated neck of the guitar, and red to contrast the green of the guitar. I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, as I do when I color anything. Even when painting, I tend to do this. I've learned to draw constructively, and I have a routine for drawing, so it keeps me more grounded, but when I color, I tend not to follow as much a structure. I do, however, think about hue, value, and chroma when I color. Color theory is not that dissimilar to music theory. I don't want to get too technical, but the relationships are similar in that they try to explain why certain things appear the way they do to us as humans. Please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, or sharing. Anything helps. Thanks for watching. I'm adding in the orange highlights of the samurai's armor. It really pops against the green on my guitar and in the design itself. I'm testing the greens to see which closely resembles the green of my guitar. So I'm using the printed copy to test against since it is close to that color. The color set happens to have a skin tone that I like, so it is the only odd color out. Otherwise, there are 2 shades of green, one of red, one of white, and one of orange. I'm laying the green base down here. After adding the base green, I decided it looked a bit too flat, so I added the lighter green to create a sense of depth. That's in a later video. If you're enjoying these videos or this content, or if you're not, let me know. Please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, or sharing. Anything helps. Thanks for watching. I'm continuing to add the green base color, filling in the smaller spots that are a bit more intricate. I'm trying to let parts of it dry, so I'm moving around and painting different areas while the others dry. I'm also stepping back from the piece as I'm working to make sure everything looks right. This is a common thing to do when creating a piece. Not much more to be said, so enjoy. If you like this content, or if you don't like this content, please let me know. Consider subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing. Anything helps. Thanks for watching. This is just a continuation of the coloring process. Just adding more of the base green here and working on some of the highlights. That's it for now, so enjoy. If you like this content, or if you don't like this content, please let me know. Consider subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing. Anything helps. Thanks for watching. Here I'm coloring in the sword in smaller areas. I'm filling in some of the smaller details on the armor and on the sword. Coloring digitally can be painstaking and tedious for me at times. I prefer drawing digitally to coloring digitally, but then traditional media I enjoy both. Coloring on physical media is relaxing for me. It's meditative. I decided to use a highlight green to add depth to the samurai. I think it adds a bit more character and life to the samurai. If you like this video series or this content, please let me know. If you don't, also let me know. Please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, or sharing. Any bit helps. Thank you for watching. I'm putting some finishing details on the highlight green, and then I switch over to my black pen so that I can recontrast those black lines and really get it to pop. That's about it, and coming shortly is the finished product. After my epoxy pour, of course. If you like this video series or this content, please let me know. If you don't, also let me know. I hope you've enjoyed it so far, and please enjoy the rest. Please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, or sharing. Any bit helps. Thank you for watching. I finally made it to the epoxy pour. Here I'm just mixing the A and B, the resin and the hardener together. It's the first time I've done this. I was trying to make sure there wasn't a ton of small bubbles, and obviously this is sped up, but I was actually mixing pretty quickly, but I knew that it was going to go on thin and I could just take a lighter to it, and I tried to do that with the stick lighter, and it wasn't working very well because it's kind of old. We've used it a lot to light the grill and stuff, so it doesn't have a lot of fluid left. So I had to go get a standard lighter, and that was tricky, to say the least. It was a pain to sit there and try not to burn my hand while I was lighting the lighter, so that's why I'm trying to find a different way to do it each time. But it worked out. It got most of the bubbles out, and then finally to the end, put the cover on it and leave it be, and try not to mess with it too much. But I did look at it quite a bit just to make sure the bubbles were dissipating, and they did. And I'm pretty happy with the results. Reveal is coming soon. After the epoxy hardened, I needed to get some of the drips off of the back. Some of the white that you see here is from the primer that came through the screw holes on the pickguard. I'm just scraping that off as best as I can, and I do have copper tape to replace the little bit of copper that's being cut up here. I honestly don't know how well it works in this guitar. You know, as a Faraday cage is supposed to be completely enclosed. To be fair, I'm probably being a little too technical there. The idea is to have electromagnetic interference lowered as much as possible. It doesn't have to be an absolute Faraday cage. However, there is enough conductive material on that pickguard to do the job. And again, like I said, I do have some to replace it with. Copper tape to replace it with. That with a noise gate. I don't really concern myself too much with it. Just, yeah. Wiping it off, scraping away the drips, and then trying to feel it with my hand and make sure it's smooth. That's about it. Reveal coming soon. Consider liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Yeah, please do that. Subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, so now it's time to disassemble the guitar partly so I can put the pickguard back on. I mean, it's kind of already disassembled as it is. Trying to figure out how to make this pickguard go on with the least amount of work as possible, but you know, end up having to take off the neck anyway, put the pickguard on, and then squeeze the neck back on top of the pickguard, and it worked out beautifully that way. But you know, trying to be sneaky. I'm trying to be lazy here and not go through the trouble. But it backfired, and I had to do it anyway. So let that be a lesson, kids. Just do it right the first time. No, seriously, I thought I was going to be able to sneak it underneath there, but the epoxy, it actually added height to the pickguard a little bit. So I had to kind of work with what I had. And since the epoxy is still flexible enough that when I put the neck back on it, it was able to squeeze into place. Consider sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing. You know, any bit helps. I'm a broke musician. Help me out. All right, this is the part where I'm struggling quite a bit to try to get this pickguard back in here without actually taking the neck off because I was being a lazy bum. Just take the neck off. It's easier. So I was trying to position it underneath the neck there, underneath the little lip that goes over the body. And then I was able to get the one screw line up on the horn on the, the top left side from my perspective. Anyway, it just was easier. Eventually, I gave up and just took the neck off and then just put everything back together eventually. Yeah, it's basically me just struggling to try to do this and be difficult instead of just doing it right the first time again. Consider liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Leave a fart joke, something. Thank you for watching. So this is the final part of me putting the guitar back together. I'm putting the bridge back on with the strings on. They're really, really loose. I have locking tuners on this guitar, so I couldn't just take the strings off and put them back on there. It's kind of a pain once, when the locking tuners bite into the string, they become compromised, like weakened. So I didn't feel like restringing the guitar right now. Okay, I actually do have a set of strings that I probably should replace it with. I have a set of 10s, the Power Slinkies by Ernie Ball, and I actually kind of want to get some 9s possibly to put on here. When you do some of them excessive bendings and now them boomer bends. The final reveal is coming here soon. This is just me putting it back together and squeezing the neck back in place. Like, comment, subscribe, share if you happen to like this video. If you don't, give it a dislike, let me know. Thanks for watching.